Standing today on the ancient walls of York in the north of England, you are standing where Roman legionnaires stood guard almost 2,000 years ago. Walking along Shambles Street, you repeat the route laid out by the Vikings more than 10 centuries ago. Touching the stones of York Minster, you are touching a building that took 2.5 centuries to build. This is a city that refused to die. Emperors died behind these walls. From here, the kings ruled England. It was besieged by armies, ravaged by plague, and bombed by the Luftwaffe. But York went through it all without breaking down. What you're about to see is different from any historical film you've seen before. We used advanced neural network technologies to bring old prints to life and turn archived images into living, breathing scenes. You won't just learn about York's past, you'll see it for what it really was. This is the story of York. 2,000 years of struggle, greatness, and survival. The 71st year of our era. The 9th Spanish Legion is advancing deep into hostile territory, pursuing the British tribes who refuse to submit to Rome. They reach a strategic point where two rivers merge, the Ouse and the Fosse. They are building a fortress here. First wooden, then made of massive stone. They call it Eboracum. 5,000 battle-hardened veterans are building baths, barracks, and temples here. This is not a temporary camp. It is the foundation of the future. But then something happens that still baffles historians. In the early 100s, the 9th Legion disappears without a trace. 5,000 soldiers, their banners, their records, everything is evaporating. Whether they disappeared in the forests of Caledonia or were disbanded is a mystery covered in the dust of centuries. They are being replaced by the 6th Legion, which will remain here for 300 years. Eboracum becomes the capital of Britain. In 211, Emperor Septimius Severus died here, exhausted by campaigns against the Scots. And in 306, a world-changing event took place. Here in York, Constantine the Great was proclaimed emperor. It was from here that the path to the legalization of Christianity and the birth of a new Europe began. After the departure of the Romans, the city plunges into twilight, becoming the Anglo-Saxon Eboracum. But in November 866, the silence of a foggy morning is broken by the splash of hundreds of oars. The great pagan Viking army rises up the river Ouse. The Anglo-Saxon defenders had no chance. By sunset, the Vikings had captured the city, which they would name Jorvik. They didn't just capture it, they rebuilt it. York became a trading hub connecting Dublin, Scandinavia, and even Byzantium. The streets of Coppergate were buzzing with the work of craftsmen, bone cutters, jewelers, blacksmiths. Archaeological excavations in the 1970s revealed the incredible to the world. Leather boots, wooden houses, and even seeds from Viking gardens were preserved in layers of peat. But the Viking power was bloody. Their last king had a name that speaks for itself, Eric Bloodaxe. With his death in 954, the era of Scandinavian York formally ended. But their blood and their language were forever woven into the DNA of the city. The year 1066 changed everything. After the victory at Hastings, William the Conqueror came to the north. York resisted. In response, William ordered the construction of a castle, but the townspeople burned it down and killed the garrison. The king's anger was apocalyptic. He began the desolation of the north. William's soldiers burned every village, every field, killed cattle and salted the land from York to Durham. There was a great famine. Thousands of people died, and the chronicles even speak of cases of cannibalism. York was reduced to ashes, dominated by a new stone tower, the Clifford Tower. But the darkest shadow fell on this tower in 1190. A wave of anti-Semitism, fueled by the Crusades, swept over the city. York's Jewish community sought refuge in the Royal Tower. Besieged by the maddened crowd, unwilling to give up on the abuse, the fathers of the families killed their wives and children, and then set fire to the tower and died themselves. 150 people were burned alive. This is a stain on the history of the city that will not be washed away for centuries. By the 13th century, York had flourished again. The wool trade made it the second city in England. York became so important that King Edward I moved the entire government of the country here for 6 years, making the city the temporary capital. At this time, the masterpiece of Gothic architecture, the York Minster is coming to an end. His huge stained glass windows, such as the Five Sisters and the Great East Window, became the wonder of the world of those times. But behind the glare of the stained glass windows, there was blood. In the 15th century, England was torn apart by the War of the Roses. York was the mainstay of the White Rose House. Their idol was Richard III. To London, he was a hunchback usurper, but to York, he was a wise ruler and patron. When he died on Bosworth Field in 1485, the city was plunged into mourning. The Tudors, who came to power, did not forgive loyalty to their enemies. The era of religious repression has begun. Margaret Clitheroe, the wife of a butcher from Shambles Street, was executed by being stoned to death for hiding Catholic priests. She died in silence, becoming the patron saint of York. In the 19th century, York found a new vocation: steam. George Hudson, the railway king, made the city the heart of Britain's transportation system. The sound of wheels replaced the clash of swords. The city has become a tourist mecca. But in 1942, the war came knocking at the gates again. Hitler ordered the Baedeker raids to bomb cities of cultural value. On the night of April 29th, the sky over York turned orange. Incendiary bombs fell on medieval roofs. The old town hall burned down, but the cathedral survived. Ordinary people were on duty on its roofs, throwing burning shells down with their bare hands. Today, York is a living museum. From the smells of Vikings in the center of Jorvik to the grandeur of the railways. This is a city that has seen everything. And if you listen to the echo in its narrow streets, you will hear the voices of all those who built, protected, and loved this city for 2,000 years. The history of York continues,